What's up, YouTube? So today's topic, I'm talking about a quick video. I'm talking about people who are sheltered throughout their whole lives. So let's get to it. So I've noticed most women are like this, but but there's men that do this shit too. Um, I've noticed a lot of women who, it's hard to explain, but a lot of adults, I could tell they're very sheltered growing up to where they never face any hardship or like they always had things handed to them, and like they never know what it's like to go through pain and suffering. They don't know what it's like to have God work with them in a way. These are the same people that live with their parents for a long ass time, that rely on their parents' money for a long ass time. These are the same people who, or even if they don't live with the parents or rely, these 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 people rely on their parents' money to give them an easy life in some way too, where they don't really have to struggle. And I'm not saying you have to struggle in life. Take every opportunity you can that's given to you that works in your favor. But I'm just saying, like, people who are like leeches, people who were just sheltered growing up, who never got out of their comfort zone. These are the same types of people who never moved out of their state. These are the same types of people who never know what it's like to work a job outside of their parents. These are the same types of people who never attempted to move out of their house and stuff like that. These are the same people who do the same shit throughout the years and stuff like that. Um, these people tend to have like an arrested development to where they're a grown ass person, but like they're grown as adult, but their mindset is like a little fucking kid. And I'm not talking about like trauma. Well, that could be trauma. No, actually, no. I'm not talking about trauma. If you've been traumatized to where you're more emotional, you're more reactive, that's different. Because like you got veterans, U.S. soldiers that go to war and shit like that, and they tend to be more emotional or have a lot of more outbursts. I'm not talking about that. It's not because they're underdeveloped or anything like that. It's because they went through trauma. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who, because they fail to live on their own or fail to be independent and they're sheltered and babied throughout their whole life, they can't think like an adult. So they still have a mindset of a little fucking kid. These are the same types of people who are very soft, who can't take rejection, who look at every conflict, who look at every confrontation or someone who challenges them, they look at that as a threat or as an attack towards them. These people play victim a lot, and a lot of women are like this. It's so hard to explain. They're very soft. Um, they don't. And that's the thing too. I noticed people like that. They don't know what it's like to think outside themselves. They only think about themselves. They don't. They're very I guess arrogant, but more so they're very conceited. Um, they like empathy because they've been babied and had things given to them throughout the whole life, so they don't know what it's like to work hard. They don't know what it's like to like not everything's always about themselves pretty much. um and if anyone challenges them or if they're facing any type of confrontation or conflict, they leave, they cower away like that. So these will be types of people who will ghost you, block you out of nowhere. These will be the types of people who play victim a lot. These people will have no ambition. These people will complain a lot. Um, and they're very arrogant. They're very selfish. They're very egotistical. A lot of women are like this. Men too. I'm talking about men as well. There are men like this. A lot of men. But I'm also targeting the women too because most women are like this. Um, they're very like self-centered. That's what I'm looking for. Very self-centered. They can't put their shoes in another person. Like they lack empathy, um, and they can only talk to you about like their mind is very limited. These will be the types of people who are more prone to conforming. They don't think outside the box, and they play victim a lot. They complain a lot. If it's not that, these will be the types of people who, again, they play victim a lot. They play victim. Also, these people growing up throughout their whole lives, they will not be taking risks. They will not be make decisions to get them out of their comfort zone. They'll live in fear based. The symptoms of that was that they'll live in the same state throughout their whole life. They'll be stuck in marriages throughout their whole lives that they don't like, and most of their marriages or relationships are very surface level. There's no depth. It doesn't challenge them. It doesn't. It's not true love. It's just the reason why most people are in connections, or they'll settle for connections that they, even just them being these types of people, is based off of their friends, their friendship circle, their social circle, through it's through their social circle. So that'll be through work, that'll be through school, that'll be through the occupation they're in. They'll never meet partners outside of that social circle. It'll always be outside. It'll always be inside the box. It will never be outside the box. And with these connections, it will result in not being happy in these connections, settling, not getting out their comfort zone, not living to their fullest potential, not finding true love, and that's the symptoms of it. So a lot of people are like this, and I'm grateful I'm not like those people. So that's all I gotta say. Have a good one. Peace. Also, these people also settle in life. They won't make a lot of money, and even if they do make a lot of money, most likely it's from their parents or it's from the connections that were handed to them throughout life. But it still sucks though, because they still got no ambition. They have a very conceited, self-centered mindset, and they lack empathy, and they're very emotional, and they lack patience, and they lack basic understanding of empathy. Very arrogant people, and they're very useless. They don't know how to help. They only care about themselves, and they don't think about outside the world or anything like that. So those are the symptoms of it. So that's all I got to say. Have a good one. Peace.